it is not anything for you.
Because if you try to make decisions whilst you're desperate, matters of the self that people face on a daily basis, right? It's always about the negative, what is not working at the moment. The list of excuses that people will come up when they hear the word solitude.
Welcome back to another episode of the Resilience Hub. I must apologize first and foremost for the last 2 weeks. I've not put out any videos because I kind of took a mental break so that I can realign myself and find that creativity within me so that whenever I'm doing these videos, I can be my most authentic self so that you guys can see who I am. You get me? As well as for the message to be relatable as best as possible. As you can see, I change up my space. I am now on the outside in the ambience of nature because sometimes this is the best place to be because it allows your mind to be clear and it gives you that natural connection with Mother Nature. So, for today's video, let me start off by saying, as it relates to my journey and discovering who I am and just working towards my goals overall, I've noticed that in order for us to achieve anything in life, you have to make sure that you have a plan, and not just a plan, but a plan with actionable steps, daily steps that you can take on a day to day basis so that it can push you closer to achieving your goals or whatever you determine as success. And I have at least 6 daily actionable steps that I must take, and I try to do those every single day. It's not that I am aiming to be perfect because on numerous occasions, you know, I have failed. I've not been able to be congruent with those steps. For example, some of those steps include workout in the morning, drink at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water, meditate, visualize, and listen to some form of affirmation. If, well, I've not been able to do all of those every single day based on the demand for work and my attention to go elsewhere. But nevertheless, that is my North Star. That is something that is giving me some sense of direction, especially in a world like this where it's very chaotic and everybody is fighting for your attention. Everybody wants you to do this or to do that. But whenever it comes on to you paying yourself that attention, there's almost nobody giving you that advice. So that's what I do on a daily basis to stay true to myself and to make some steps towards my goal. One of the things that I've realized is it takes a lot of discipline to follow these steps on a daily basis because on many occasions I have that old paradigm of thinking coming in to say that, listen, you got a lot to do today at work, so you don't have to do that last action. And sometimes I will buy into this type of rational excuse so as to not do my daily action. But later on, I realized that I'm the one who's going to feel guilty because I knew that I could have done it. And if I had done it, it would have pushed me closer to becoming a better man or a better version of myself. So discipline is a must in anything that you do. And discipline, most people will think that discipline means your life is boring or you don't get to do what you want. But from my experience, it is totally different. Discipline is about you choosing yourself. It is about you deciding that you are going to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel and regardless of what's happening around your environment. And that to me is key because, as I said before, most people choose to do things for other people and they left themselves out of it, because at the end of the day, when you work, say, for 10, 12, or 14 hours for a company or another business, you have little to no time left for yourself. So you have to choose. Discipline is choosing yourself first and doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Another thing in relation to ascertaining your goal is you have to evaluate yourself on either a daily basis or a weekly basis. What I do is, at the end of my day, I'll be sure to sit down and do some journaling. And normally I would journal like things that I didn't do or things that I did do, as well as if there's any room for improvement. I make sure to make a note of that and I implement that in the next day or days to come. So that is a key note as well. One of the things you must also focus on is taking action. A lot of us, especially in the technological world we're in now, we are so exposed to so much information and we get stuck in what is described as analysis paralysis. You take in so much information and you overanalyze it instead of taking some form of action. So it's like a person who strives to be perfect. They have this thought in their mind that whatever they're doing, it must be done a certain way, and if it's not done that way, then it it, it will not look good, or it will not sound good, or people will not accept it. So most people get stuck in that cycle or loop of analyzing all this information and not taking any action. Look, the fact of the matter is you are embarking on a journey that you have never been on before, and you must be open to make mistake. You must be open to fail, because that is where you're going to see the areas of your life that you need to improve. And that goes without saying. And in seeing those areas that you need to improve on, that's where you're going to do the work, and that's how you're going to get to the stage where you are at a certain level that you feel comfortable with. That is something that I wasn't, well, not wasn't, but I didn't accept that one so gracefully, because, in the social media space, you see so many people come online and they do their videos. They have this wonderful transition with the videos, good sound, good background, and everything. And that puts on some kind of, pressure on you, especially when you're new in that space. But whatever you choose to do, you have to take action, and you're gonna just have to take the leap into it. You have to just go forward. That's how you're going to get better. You understand? People are going to talk, of course. People have the right to their own opinions. But what is most important is what you think of yourself. And if you enter this space and understand that, listen, I am going to fail, I am going to fall down a few times, but that is a part of the process. All I need to do is to get up and keep moving forward. And in doing this, what it does, it is going to build up your catalog so that you can look back a year from now and look and see how you used to deliver yourself compared to where you are presently. And you're going to see a vast difference. So my advice to you is enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey of learning, of failing. And as I said the other day, you have to learn to be imperfect and do not chase perfection. Because in being imperfect, that's where your growth is. That's where you're going to find that new and improved version of yourself. Do these things and implement them in your life. And please comment, let me know if another thing that is important that you should implement in getting better, becoming a better individual, or along your personal development journey is meditation. Meditation is something that I've been really implementing more in my daily routine because meditation puts me in a space to detach from the world because there's so much happening. And as I said, social media, you're always doing this constant scrolling. The job is trying to get your attention, the kids are trying to get your attention, friends and families, TV shows. Meditation allows me to detach from the world completely and allows me to focus on myself and to have that inner dialogue. That inner dialogue is very important because most people try to drown it out because they are afraid of the truths that they'll find within themselves. That is something I've been embracing. The darkness that I found in myself, as well as the light, but particularly the darkness. It is something that is very much a part of you, and you have to integrate that into yourself and use that darkness and alchemize it and use that energy to propel you to something that is positive. Also, whenever I meditate, it allows me to analyze my actions throughout the course of the day. Sometimes we have a disagreement with someone or family member or whoever, and we may have dealt with the situation wrong. And in that moment, our ego might not allow us to admit fault. But when you go back or go in that space of meditation or solitude, it allows you to see where you went wrong. You get me? And where you could have dealt with the situation, or you see where the person might have gone wrong. So I say all of that to say discipline, daily actionable steps, meditation. These are fundamentals that you must apply to your life if you are along the road of personal development or just working towards any form of success. These things will always come up, and you need to implement them if you have not as yet in your life, because it is going to be the foundation that you will always fall back on, because life has a way to throw a curveball at us, meaning a bad situation can come up, and if you're not disciplined, if you're not able to take the actionable steps or go into that frame or room of meditation or solitude, you will see that as an attack on you, and you will fail to see the seed of growth in that negative situation. So these things have helped you to become better, or if you're doing it, tell me, interact with me, let me know in the comments how has daily actionable steps, solitude and discipline has helped you in your journey of becoming a better individual. I would very much like to know. Just a second, you're talking so much, gets my mouth really dry. Yeah, so those three things are the things that I've been implementing lately over the past 2 weeks, and I'm telling you, I'm seeing changes in my life. You know, it's not anything great, but the compounding of doing it on a daily basis is definitely showing up. You understand? Because you have to take time to know yourself, and if you do not take time to know yourself and ground yourself, nobody is going to do it for you, especially in a world like today where the people are less compassionate and empathetic. So you have to do the groundwork for yourself. If this message resonated with you or you can relate to it, as I said, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do more and more videos like these where I am out in the ambience of nature. And if it is that you want me to speak on a specific topic, share it in the comments as well. I look forward to it. And once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in.
This is the Resilience Hub.